Culture swap.
Swap my culture.
What did we do this time, Liam?
We got real cultural. We went to South Korea.
We didn't physically go to South Korea, listeners.
No, but we watched a film that was set in South Korea.
Yeah.
So, like, from the comfort of our own homes, we went to South Korea.
Yeah, it was like a little snippet into the South Korean world.
Yeah, exactly. We saw Train to Busan.
I'd heard nothing about this film, Liam, until you suggested it to me last episode.
Okay, I had heard a little bit about it, but just that, it was a zombie film set on a train, and it was meant to be good. And I really like South Korean cinema, at least what I've seen.
I don't think I've seen much. What's the film called that I'm thinking of? Snow thingy?
Snowpiercer.
Is that by a South Korean
Yes.
company? Yes, okay.
And I think director.
Yes, yeah. But they used a lot of English actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I think that's probably the...
Or American, maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah. I meant English speaking.
English speaking. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
Old Boy you've seen as well, which is South Korean.
I haven't seen Old Boy.
We had this discussion already, haven't we?
Yep.
Well, you need to watch Old Boy. That needs to
I know.
be on our list.
I'm aware that I need to watch Old Boy.
Okay. Anyway, Train to Busan. So you knew nothing about it.
Yep.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Wow.
Like, I wasn't
praise.
sure what to expect going into it.
Okay.
But I genuinely, when it finished, I was like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah, I watched this with Kat last night, and she said, like, she had some other stuff she wanted to do. She's like, I'll give it the first 30 minutes. If I want to see how it ends, I'll stick with it, and if not, I'll go do other stuff. And she stuck with it.
What did you think? Did you like it?
I did. Like I said, I like South Korean cinema. I had a few issues, as I'm known to do, but it was definitely more positive than negative for me.
Cool. Do we want to... Right, well, let's point out, listeners, there's going to be spoilers.
There will be spoilers.
So if you want to go see Train to Busan, which I would recommend to anyone that was interested in zombie films...
Or South Korean cinema.
Or if you've got, if you like sort of family... Not family-friendly, that's not the word.
No.
Like a family-oriented film, as in, like, one of the core concepts is family connections. I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, Liam. What am I trying to say?
Like a film about family.
Yeah, that's a simple way to say it.
Yeah.
Go watch it. If not...
It's okay, here's how I would describe it. If this sounds up your street, go watch it. It's like Snowpiercer meets World War Z.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if that sounds up your street, watch this film. If not, we're about to spoil the fuck out of it. So
hell yeah.
Stick around and you can just pretend to your friends you've seen it.
Exactly.
One thing I forgot to mention in housekeeping, but I can mention it here. On the last episode, I got a few names, I pronounced them wrong, and we had a couple of people who very helpfully and kindly messaged me with the correct pronunciations of these names. So this one, I'm going to let you do the names, Jack.
No, well, you're going to have to say names as well, Liam.
No.
Right, here's the thing, listeners. It's a South Korean film, so a lot of these names are South Korean. So what I'm going to do when I read them is I'm going to take a best guess if I can't remember how it's pronounced in the film. So if we say something wrong, it's not us being idiots. It's genuinely us trying.
Yeah.
There you go. Simple.
So who's in it? Who are the main characters?
Gong-yu is Seok-woo.
Okay, and who's he?
He's a fund manager obsessed with his work.
Alright, so someone else calls him arsehole throughout the film.
Yes.
He's arsehole. Next.
Fair enough. Jung Yu-mi was Seong Kyung, who is Sang-hwa's pregnant wife.
She's the pregnant wife. Next.
Yeah. Kim Soo-an was Soo-an.
That was arsehole's daughter.
Yes, it was.
Next.
Ma Dong-seok was Sang-hwa. He's a tough working class man.
He was cool guy. I liked him.
Yeah.
Cool. He also husband to pregnant wife.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I'm just having there's probably 2 more characters I'd say that are important. Maybe 3.
Yeah.
There's Kim Eui-sung was Yeon-suk, who is a rich CEO. I am reading this off Wikipedia, which is why they're ridiculous.
He's like the villain, if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call him Dickhead.
Yep, that's fair. So we've got arsehole and Dickhead.
Yeah.
Then there's Choi Woo-sik as Yong-guk, who is a young baseball player. He was the cool baseball guy.
Yeah, I'm going to call him, like, Jock.
Well, he didn't strike me as particularly jockey.
No, but for sake of ease...
I'm just going to call him baseball.
Yeah, baseball, that works.
This person is the person I was thinking.
The cheerleader.
Ahn Soo-hee played Jin-hee, which is the baseball guy's close friend, is what it says on Wikipedia.
But she's a cheerleader.
Well, I don't know if I think that was a joke she was saying. I don't think she actually was a cheerleader.
Care. I'm calling her cheerleader.
Okay, fine. I'm going to call her girlfriend.
You also had the two old ladies.
Yeah, but they're not. They weren't super important to the film.
Moving on.
There was also the homeless guy.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
He wasn't important. I was just saying as another example of a character that we could do this for, but who isn't critical for us knowing the name of.
Cool. Okay. So now we've got all of the names who have all been impeccably pronounced by Jack, and I'm sure if he hasn't pronounced any of them, I'm sure you guys will let him know where he went wrong.
Oh, in all seriousness, if I pronounce them wrong, let me know, because I genuinely am interested in the correct pronunciations.
Yeah. So we liked it.
Yeah.
Cool. The end.
What were your issues? You said you had issues with the film, Liam.
Okay. The issues I had is I didn't think it was particularly scary for a horror film.
I don't find zombie films particularly scary.
No, I don't know if it was trying to be that scary.
Yeah.
Like World War Z, which I compared it to earlier, isn't a scary film.
No, exactly. Yeah.
But
that's fair.
But I would have liked more, horror. Because the thing is, they've done a couple of cool different things with zombies that you don't often get that would allow for scary scenes. That I think is a bit of a missed
opportunity. Is that the fact that they're running zombies?
No, it's the fact that they can't see in the dark.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing they've added.
Yeah, and they have a couple of tense moments with it, but it never escalates into actual a good scene of horror kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even when the zombies are attacking and going crazy, it's never excessively gory, I would say. And just to give us some sort of frame of comparison, for me, the scariest zombie film I've seen is the Spanish film Wreck.
Yeah, Wreck is terrifying, that's true.
Yeah, so when I say I wanted it to be scarier, that is how I think you can do a scary zombie film.
You can. And this isn't me arguing against you, because I also wouldn't have minded if it was more scary. I don't know if it needed to be more scary. I don't know.
It wouldn't necessarily benefited the story or anything.
But I also wouldn't have minded if they had done a really scary...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a good premise, zombies on a train, essentially.
Yeah, I was a bit iffy about it at first. I was like, is this going to work? Because after... There's that first scene where the zombies sort of hit, and it all spreads through the train.
Yes.
And I was like... The moment they shut that door,
cool. That was a cool scene.
It is a really cool scene. But the moment they shut that door and they're like, oh, when the zombies can't see us, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry, how is there more film? Oh, cool, we've just figured it out and we sorted it. But then they do actually, it is an interesting premise that stays interesting.
Yeah, and I think they do, the issue with these high concept kind of premises where it's this on or this, that sort of thing, is it can get quite difficult to sustain that for a whole film.
Yeah,
and
I think they made the right decision to have that. There's a bit in the middle where they get off the train to go into a train station, and if the whole film had been on that train, I think it would have got worn out.
But I think not only that, but when they do have to get off the train for whatever reason, it's always believable scenarios.
Yes, it's never just
it feels organic. It doesn't feel like they're just doing it to stretch out the film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like how the zombies look and move. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say now, I think there's a whole level of this, with cultural significance and political significance that I'm
Can
not
we do
picking
this
up on.
later, please? I'd like to talk about the film first.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I'm not, there's a whole level there that I'm not even picking up on.
Okay, fine.
I think it's there, because there's little tiny glimpses, but I don't know enough about Korean politics and culture to pick up on all of it.
Fair enough.
I imagine the song that she sings probably has some relevance to, would have a different meaning if you were from South Korea than what we're getting from it.
You know the song.
Do I?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the song is, but I know that the tune is a song that we know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's It's a Western. I don't know if it's a song that is then just translated into Korean.
Okay.
Or if it's the same tune,
it
but
would
a different
have had
song.
Different. There's certain things with Asian culture that you see in film that to them it's like shorthand. You know how we have shorthand in film.
Yeah. It's like the red letter thing in China.
What's that?
So a red letter in China is on a specific birthday, everyone in China gets a red letter which contains money from their grandparents, I think it is, and it's like this really big cultural thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I imagine if there was a Chinese film, they might not explain that scene; they would just do a red letter.
Exactly.
And you knew what that meant, but we wouldn't, sort of thing.
Yeah. So there's potentially there's that going on. What else did I like?
We're doing issues. We're doing issues.
Oh, we're doing issues.
Yeah, you did. You said you didn't like the that it wasn't scary enough.
Yeah, okay. What else did I not like? I thought it was a little bit too long.
Fair enough. I didn't feel that, but
So it's 2 hours.
there were a couple of bits where I was like, yeah, I think it didn't feel long,
No.
but it also doesn't feel short.
No. It wasn't an issue so much. It could have been like, I wouldn't have taken a lot out, but maybe like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's very rare that there'll be a film that I'll be like, I wish this was longer. So, another issue is they killed my favourite character.
I mean, they kill a lot of characters. Your favourite character was Awesome Guy, yes?
Yeah. Awesome guy with the pregnant wife.
Yeah.
He was super cool. And I wanted him... I'm okay with them killing him, but I wanted him to be around for a bit longer.
Yeah, they did that one, though. Like, both him and the guy you're calling Dickhead.
Yeah, the main guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them had... Both their deaths were...
Oh, wait, no, sorry, no, Dickhead is the villain. The main guy's
arsehole.
Yeah.
Like, both of them had a very... Not obvious. Like, I liked both their deaths.
Yeah.
In that they were both good deaths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that the characters died.
Yes.
But like, there was an obvious
something
scene...
quite noble, so always sacrificing themselves or whatever.
Yeah, and there was a very obvious scene where they were setting up the fact that both of them would die.
When was
or
that?
At least one of them, which is those two have a conversation.
Yeah.
When they start to, like, not hate each other.
Yeah.
And Awesome Guy says, that's the thing about being a dad, it's all about sacrifice, and they won't understand until they're older, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the moment he said that, I was like, okay, one of you's dying.
Yeah. And I think, like, one of the things I liked is that they did kill off essentially the main character.
Yeah, and that scene is... Like, I messaged Liam when the final scene happened, which is sort of the final scene, but the dad, the main dad, sacrifice, like, he gets bitten on the hand, saving his daughter from, like, the last zombie they're fighting.
Yeah.
And I literally just was in open tears, like, not even a single tear rolling down my cheek. I was just crying.
Yeah.
Because it's that scene felt so horribly, like, real. Like, the fact that he started crying because he knew that he's, like, about to kill himself to save his daughter.
Yeah.
And, like, just the way the little girl's, like, screaming, don't go.
Yeah, that was pretty tragic.
It didn't feel like in a Western film or in a more, like, common film.
Yeah.
I could see that being really overplayed, like, too emotional.
Yeah.
Whereas it felt
like the music
real.
Would swell up.
Yeah.
And,
whereas that just felt like, actually, that is how people would act
in
that situation.
Yeah, one of the things that makes me nervous is the idea that this will probably end up getting a remake that will not be very good.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want that.
No. Yeah, other issues. I would have liked just maybe like one more tense scene. Like, there's a couple. Like, there's one where they're like crawling along the baggage, the bit where you put your bags above the seats, and all the zombies are in the dark below them. And I really liked the scene where a train carriage topples over and they're face to face with zombies and glass that's cracking.
Yeah.
I liked that sort of stuff. I would have liked one more scene like that, where it was like it was more tense. But yeah, other than that, like, I don't have a lot of issues, to be honest.
No, I think the only other thing that I had an issue with was the scene where they're arsehole, Awesome Guy, and Baseball.
Yeah.
When they're trying to get back to the carriage that everyone's on because they board the train and they're separated by 4 or 5 carriages of zombies.
Yeah.
There's a specific bit where they're wrapping up their arms and stuff so they don't get bitten, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then arsehole picks up a shield.
Yeah.
And there was this, like, it was cool and it wasn't too over the top.
Yeah.
Because I was worried that suddenly they were going to bust out, like, amazing fighting moves.
Yeah.
But it did feel a little bit unrealistic almost.
Yeah. But
and again, it's a zombie film. I get that. People out who are listening are going to be like, "Man, it's zombies. How can you say unrealistic?"
Unrealistic, but like, I get what you're saying, but also it was a good, like, fun scene.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I liked that scene.
So it's forgivable for that reason. Yeah.
It was just a little bit like,
you would not survive this.
Yeah, and I'd also have liked it if they clarified, like, because Awesome Guy, I had this whole feeling that maybe he was going to be revealed to be, like, part of a gang or something.
Okay.
I don't know why. He was just giving off that vibe that I've seen in, like, some animes and stuff, where, like, there's a guy who turns good who used to be in the mob.
Yeah.
And with his nice clothes and sort of the way he was being with his wife, I could see that as being his story. And if they had said, if he was like, I'm good at fighting people because I used to be in the mob, that scene would have made sense to me. And that would have also been ridiculous and ruined the film, so I also don't want them to do that, but...
Okay. Should we go on to what stuff we liked?
All of it.
Oh, one other like slight issue is I did think they kind of the main like message of the film, if you will. I think they really did like hammer that home maybe a little tiny bit too much.
Is that the dad learning that he has to? It's not worth sacrificing all your time to spend with your daughter if you're not going to spend it with your daughter.
No.
Okay, what do you think the main message was?
The main message is you have to help others, not just look out for yourself.
Oh, I don't think that was the main message. I think that's how the daughter is.
Yeah, but
He was learning
like
to do that.
repeated so many times throughout, and that's what he learned. That's why.
Yeah, but I think
like,
that was
that's the message.
But I think that was part of the just be a better person. Like, because his whole thing was that's how the like finance world is, right? You don't care about people, and that also meant that he then wasn't spending time with his daughter. So to me, the message was spend
more time with your daughter.
Yeah, don't sacrifice all your time trying to provide for people if it means that you're sacrificing that relationship.
I feel like if that's too like. For my take on it, that would have been too specific a message to be trying to put across. Like,
that's fine. We don't have to agree on the message. Then.
Yeah, like how many people in the audience are going to be like, "Oh yeah, I should spend more time with my daughter."
I mean, both of us, Liam, don't know that because we're one individual person. So I don't know if either of us can say my message is more valid because.
No, I'm not saying it's more valid. I'm just saying, like, for me, the message of kind of help others and don't put yourself first is more universal.
But did they even learn that message? Because at the end, when they're trying to help people, they get fucked over by everyone.
Yeah, they do, but that doesn't stop them from trying to help people. He still manages to get his daughter and the pregnant wife to safety. And you think, at the beginning of the film, not a chance he'd have got the pregnant wife to safety. It would have just been the daughter.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Okay. This is the thing. Like, I think like some people who listen would like it if we dig deeper into like meanings and stuff. But it's very hard to do that.
We're going to, Liam. But me and you both know.
It's hard to do that with you.
Listen, me and you both know that the discussion we're going to have about the message of the film is going to end in an argument, right? Because we both spoke before recording, and we know that we're going to argue about when we get to that bit. So what we're doing is we're getting the bits we didn't like and the bits we did like out of the way, because they're the bits we're going to agree on and have friendly discussions about.
Okay.
So let's get those done, and then the last 10 minutes of this fucking show can be me and you shouting at each other.
I thought the acting was good.
Yeah, it's really good. She was a good child actor as well.
She was, which is unusual.
Yeah.
What else?
I like that there wasn't a big the military saved everyone bit, even though there was the military have got this one town at the end.
Yeah, I liked that the end flirted with how... You've seen Night of the Living Dead, right? Night of the Living Dead. So you know how that ends on a very downbeat ending?
Yeah.
I liked how this flirted with that, but didn't copy it.
Yeah, there was a moment where I was literally out loud begging my computer screen and going, please don't do this.
And I think the genius of that is, I think it was a conscious decision to do that because Night of the Living Dead is so iconic and people are so familiar with it, they know that by doing that, you're in a kind of position to think, oh, that could be how this ends.
Yeah.
So I quite like the way they toyed with you doing that.
Yep, that was good.
Yeah, I liked all of the stuff with the cool guy. I didn't like the dickhead guy. Like, he was just almost too... Like, he didn't feel believably dickheadish to me. It felt like a cartoon villain, almost.
I thought it was believable up to a certain point.
Yeah, and then it just gets silly.
Like, him sealing them out, that made... Like, I could see the argument for that being something that people might do.
Yeah, that like sort of had echoes to The Mist, I thought, but without like the religion aspect.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. But then it did get a little bit like when he started just shoving people in front of zombies. I was like, this guy doesn't seem like he's evil.
Yeah, and you get what they're doing with that, where it's like that's to show what the dad would be like if he just carried on putting himself first.
Sure.
Like that's the dad in like 20 years' time if the daughter hadn't have been there. To,
the fact that guy's a CEO.
Yeah, that's like that was my reading of it.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
But I did just think he was a bit too... It was just too obvious. Like it wasn't like a textured, layered villain. It was just too one note, I thought.
Did you feel bad for him at the end, though, when he had his little... I was like, at least they tried to give him some humanising aspect at the end.
No, I didn't feel bad. Like when he was like, I was just scared.
No.
Wait, what bit are you talking about?
Right at the end, when he's turning into a zombie.
Yeah.
He says, please take me to my mother.
Oh, no,
she's waiting for me. So, there was this bit where it's like, okay, the reason he's been so desperate to get home is he just wants his mum.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Also, that's not what I kind of... To me, I thought it was more that, like, when he was turning, he was reverting to a more, like, childlike stage. I didn't think it was just him...
No, because he started giving out his address and stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, but that's, like, something that a child would do.
No, I think that was I'm pretty positive that's what they were saying, was that he wanted, that was his like goal.
Yeah, no, you're probably right, but I'm just saying.
But you didn't read that when you saw it.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Like for me, I thought it was part of the zombie process, as it reverted him like back to like his brain back to a younger stage.
Yeah, I can see how you read that.
Yeah, it was because he's like his eyes had already turned and he was doing like the twitching and stuff, and it was like he was just on the cusp of turning full zombie.
Yeah, but we didn't have that with anyone else.
No, but no one else spoke when they were turning either.
We had the girl right at the beginning, the first person to get on the train who's infected.
Yeah, but so we had no one with their eyes already turned talking.
Yeah,
that's what. So to me, like the indication would be the eyes turn, and then like the brain just rapidly kind of unravels and takes you back to a younger state, and then shuts you off as you become
maybe.
Like,
I didn't get that reading from it at all.
That's fair enough. Like because I thought that what they were trying to do is the whole like he was just a coward. Like that's why he did everything out of fear.
Oh yeah, it definitely clarified that he was a coward.
Yeah,
I mean either way he was a coward.
Yeah, and so the whole like I just want to get to my mum, like didn't have that much of an impact on me.
Fair enough.
I thought it was more sad when like the main character, arsehole guy, was talking on the phone to his mum.
Yeah, that was sad.
Also, I guess that's like a Korean culture thing where people are quite close to their parents still.
I mean, people are close to their parents in England.
Yeah, they are, but it's not the sort of thing that you would often see in a film. Like, if they...
Shaun of the Dead did it?
Yeah. Any others?
I haven't got a long list of English zombie films. I'm not like you, Liam. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of movies.
Yeah, like, Shaun of the Dead definitely ticked that off. But I was thinking, like, if they were to remake this in America, I feel like that scene particularly would feel really hammy.
They'd replace the mum in that beginning scene where she's in his apartment.
Yeah.
They'd replace her with a hot French maid.
Yes.
And then he'd call her and she'd go, "I'm turning." That was not French. I think that might have been like German.
I mean, until you did the voice, I was on board with watching that, but then you just put me right off.
Mister, I'm turning.
Anything else you liked?
Did I have something? No. I mean, yeah, there's lots I liked.
Yeah, I'm
nothing.
sure we'll just like cover it organically, or if we haven't covered it, we probably liked it. Safe to assume.
Fuck it, Liam. Let's fall out.
Alright then.
I mean, it's your thing that we're going to fall out about, so say whatever you're going to say.
You're not going to set it up?
No, it's your thing. I don't know what you... Liam believes there's a political message in this film.
I don't know if it's necessarily political.
Only because I've convinced you that maybe you don't know what political means.
Okay, there's two messages.
See, this is what I mean. I can't explain it because I don't know what you're...
Right, there's two messages. There's one that I definitely think is political, in that the film is very... what's the word? Critical of the way that the government handled the foot-in-mouth disease thing. And the scenes that making me think that is the scene where they're on the train and you have the like official broadcast and the guy saying, don't worry, no one panic, the government have this under control, blah blah blah, as things are like rapidly spiraling out of control.
Okay.
So that to me just seemed very critical of government, because it almost felt comical with him being like, things are under control, when there's a train hurtling along with like a fuck ton of zombies on it. And it's going past like landscapes where shit's on fire, and you've just seen news reports where things are definitely not under control.
Okay.
The next message... So this is something that I said to Kat afterwards, and she was like, I didn't get that at all from this film. I think there is... And I don't know if it's political or what it is, but there's an immigration message in there. And I don't know if it was intended to be in there, but I think, regardless, with our backgrounds and where we're from, you can read that in this film anyway.
Okay. I can't imagine at the moment where you got that. So explain to me.
Right. Very easy.
Yeah.
We touched on the scene before. It's when the three guys are fighting through the zombies, right?
Okay.
They get to the daughter and the pregnant wife. They rescue them from a toilet cubicle.
Yeah.
They then fight through a fuck ton more zombies to get to the safe carriage, and all of the people in the safe carriage are trying to stop them from getting in. Right?
Oh, you're grasping.
No,
that is a
let me finish.
Let me finish.
Go
on.
They finally get in. So, right, here we go. These characters have essentially come from this, like, fucking awful scenario where people are dying and things are terrible. They get to safety, and all the people in the safe carriage go, "We don't want you here. Get out." And you're telling me you can't read an immigration thing into that?
Oh, no. I can see how you got to an immigration thing from that. I just disagree entirely that is a message that anyone at any point tried to put in this film, or that anyone even considered, or that you even should read into this film.
But that's why I think it's interesting, because even if it wasn't deliberately put in, yeah, because I don't know, like, South Korea, if they've had any dealings with immigration recently, like with the whole North Korea, South Korea divide. I don't know what their immigration, like, status is. But for us, with all of the stuff that's going on in the world currently, I think it's at least interesting that that is there in this film, and you can take that from it.
Okay, so here's my issue with that then, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to genuinely be reasonable and not just shout at you.
Okay.
Okay, so my issue with that is it feels to me like I can see how you got there.
Yeah.
But at what point, like, because to me the idea of one of those messages that people take from a film, like you've said before, you know, it doesn't matter that the director didn't put stuff in there deliberately if the message is there, which is fair enough. I understand your point.
Yeah.
Right? There must be a point, because you could look at almost any film and find almost any message, I imagine. You just go, because that to me, that story point is a story point. That makes sense to me. That is a dad trying to get to his daughter. If you didn't have that separation, it doesn't prove to us that he's changed from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that he's learned to love his daughter, right?
Yep.
So that to me is a very core part of the story that would have had to have been there. Like, everyone would have sat down and gone, that's an awesome idea. Split the dad and the daughter up. The dad is trying to get to her.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So at some point, surely you have to go, there is a message that I could read into it there, but that message, but I can't do that to everything, because you could do it to everything.
Yeah, you could. Right.
Because you could easily have gone the bit where they go in the train station, right? They go into the train station, it's all nice and clean, it seems like a really nice place.
Yeah.
So they've immigrated to a nice area, but then when they leave, everyone in that place is a zombie, and they turn around and they are just met with hostility and aggression. So they have to run back to their train and escape from the country.
But, okay.
So surely at that point, like, and I'm making that up, Liam. I'm bullshitting.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a thing at all.
No,
but it makes sense, and you could fit it in.
But okay, you could, and that's where, like, film becomes interesting to talk about it, when you go into that sort of, like, here's what you could read from it. Not saying that it's deliberately been put there or that you should read it. It's just there is enough there, I think, that you could draw those parallels or comparisons.
But so here's my question then.
Yeah.
When is that not okay? Because otherwise,
when it's not in the film.
No, but that's ridiculous. Because, like I'm saying, you could apply that narrative to so many different points in any film.
Could. Yeah.
So, but then what does that achieve?
Because it's the
then?
sort of thing, right? So yeah, if you sat down and you really, really think about it, and you go,
Liam, I didn't think about that one.
I know, but
I went, what was a bit in a film that I could maybe do that with? The train station, okay, and then I just started talking.
Yeah.
So that's not interesting to me, because I just made that up.
Yeah, but that's to you. To other people, so there might be someone else who watched this film and did have that reading from it. So just because it's not interesting to you doesn't mean to them it's not interesting.
No, but that's what I mean. So if anyone can do it to any part of a film, what's the point?
Because it's a discussion that's interesting.
No, because a discussion is like I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying.
No, you're saying, like, where's the logical conclusion of this? If you could
No. I agree with you. I can see how people find that interesting doing stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if someone were to really sit down and do it, they could do it to every little bit in that film. You could literally, I imagine, if you sat down and genuinely for like a day just went through a film bit by bit, and you were like, I'm going to take each individual section and I'm going to find this one message that I'm trying to get across, right?
Yeah.
I'm specifically looking for this message. I imagine if you worked hard enough, you could apply it to almost everything, which at some point makes that redundant, because if you apply that message through everything, you lose the message, because at some point someone that hears you say that is going to go, that's insane, what are you talking about?
It depends who they're talking to, really. If they're talking to someone who's quite open-minded...
I imagine if I sat down with Lee from the movie podcasts that we have been on, right, if I sat down with him and I just went for an hour about one specific message, I'm not saying that I go through and find different messages, I'm saying if I specifically went, every part of this film is immigration, here is why, and I literally broke it like scene by scene and went, that first scene, immigration, second scene, immigration, third scene, guess what?
But I
immigration.
Think that would be hard to do. I think a lot harder than you think it would be.
I don't know.
All right,
because I just did it in 1 second.
First scene is the guy who's driving and he's told that he can't go that way or whatever because there's been some sort of outbreak, and you see him hit a deer and then the deer becomes a zombie, right? And they reference foot and mouth disease in that scene.
Yeah, he also...
How are you drawing immigration from it?
Because, Liam, he also has a conversation with the people that are spraying down his car, right?
Yeah.
And he says, again, so to me, the implication of immigration there is perhaps that the border control that we have in place in lots of countries is too strict because it's hurting the working man, represented by that guy who's just trying to do his job.
Yeah.
He gets stopped every single day at that border. He says, "You doing this to me again?" They say, "Yes, we are." So to me, the implication about immigration there is that we should lower border control.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's insane, Liam, because again, I just bullshitted that. So if I can do it that
Yeah.
quickly to two separate scenes,
Yeah.
what's the fucking point? Because I'm not finding that message.
But
I'm just
so
making
that's
it up.
that's the thing. If you watch it and you genuinely find that message, right? Not just bullshit it, but you watch it and it triggers something in your brain. Okay.
Okay.
Because I didn't like when I got the message that I got from it. It wasn't after sitting and thinking. It was as the scene was playing out. It just triggered in my brain. I was like, right, there's parallels here. There was no like, let's have a deep, real think about this and see if we can draw anything. It just happened. And I think if you watch a film and it triggers something like that, that is what makes it interesting. Not sitting down and just trying to bullshit it and just make it up. Like, that's how you get through uni and you write essays. But to actually just have it trigger naturally as you're watching is when it becomes interesting.
But okay, so like you said earlier with when I made it up about the train station thing,
Yeah.
you said you could see someone coming up with that
Yeah.
by themselves without making it up, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. This is my point. All I'm asking
Yeah.
is, 'cause I'm not saying that your viewpoint on that is invalid. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that I didn't see that.
Yeah, which
right?
is fair enough.
Yeah. My question is, if people... So say, let's take... Everyone in the world watches that film, let's say.
Yes.
Eventually we're going to get enough people finding that message in different scenes by chance, or it just happens... They just happen to think of it as it's happening sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
At some point, does that message... Does it not become invalid? Because surely you're also getting the opposite, where someone's watching a scene and getting the polar opposite message, or whatever.
No, because I think that's when you have a discussion, right?
But then are we just talking about ourselves?
Yeah, but it's very rare, right? Like, if a film sets out to make this a message, okay?
Yeah.
And you watch a film and you get that message from it, and then someone else watches it and they get the complete opposite message, right?
Okay.
Where does the blame lie in that message? Like, would you put the blame in the film for not conveying the message in a way that two different people couldn't draw the same thing from it? Do you put the blame in the person who got the message that's opposite to the other one? Like, there's no like way of placing blame on this. It is just, if a film does its job well, most people will get the same message from it. If someone gets something different, it's not a criticism of the film necessarily. It is a different way of viewing it. It's viewing it from a different perspective. So that's why I'm saying, when I watched the film, maybe it wasn't intended. Maybe like South Korea doesn't have an immigration thing. But from my history and everything that I'm bringing in my life to when I watch a film, if that's how I read it, that's still interesting. So you've brought everything that's happened to you in your life up until the point when you sat down and watched the film will play into how you read it. So that's why when different people have different readings, it's interesting because it tells you more about the person than it does necessarily about the thing they're talking about.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not sure if I'm making sense at this point.
No,
but that's
I
how
understand
I feel.
what you're saying.
Yeah. Like,
And I think you've answered my question, which is what I was asking. So
what I think film does well is it opens a door to have discussion, and that's why I like it when we go a little bit deeper into a film, because it's not necessarily about the film, it's about everything that you're bringing when you watch the film.
But what if, Liam,
Yeah.
I watch a film,
Yeah.
or read a book, or
Yeah.
watch a TV show, or play a game,
Yeah.
and I don't take any of those messages from it, apart from the ones that later on a director might go, oh, I was trying to say this, and then I like rewatch it and I go, oh yeah, I can see that. What happens
Yeah.
then? Because that is how because to me, right, films and games and books are a form of escape from reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't watch a scene and go, that's about immigration, because I'm not thinking about our world when I watch that film. I'm so absorbed in their world
Yeah.
that I'm taking what their experiences are. Do you see what I mean? I'm not, and that's
Yeah.
not me saying that it's
Well,
wrong
this was,
to do the other way.
So this was sort of a discussion that we kind of touched on when we were recording with Lee and Jason. So I think that if you want to just watch a film like that, where you don't want to read too deeply into it, that's okay. And there are some films that I think almost demand more critical reading, because there are certain films that you don't get a lot out of it if you just take it at surface level.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But there are some films that are made to be taken at surface, like the big blockbuster like hits and stuff like that. Yeah, there's probably extra stuff going on, but they're equally enjoyable on a surface level. And this is where when we get into world cinema, that it becomes a bit different, because I don't know enough about all of the different politics around the world to be able to say what informed these films as well as I do like American and British films. So like we could watch an American film and we could be like, I understand the sphere that film was made in, right? Because no film is made in a vacuum. It's always informed.
No, yeah, 100%.
What's going on.
There are things that, yeah.
So
Even without deliberately, someone might be saying something through that film without meaning to.
Yeah, exactly. So I have forgotten what your question is.
I'm not sure either.
I think you were saying basically, is it okay to not like take a message away from a film, basically?
Yeah.
And I think it is. There are definitely some films where it's harder to do that. But if you watch Train to Busan, and like you said, you thought your takeaway was spend more time with your daughter, that's in the film.
Well, just that, I think more family's important and don't waste your life doing work.
Yeah, and that message is 100% in the film.
Yeah, fair.
But there are definitely other messages. There's probably a whole load going on that me and you aren't picking up.
Yeah, I could see
culture.
that there could be things. Yeah, if you were South Korean and watched that film, you'd go, oh, that's obviously influenced by X, Y, and Z situation.
It was one of my when I was studying film at uni. I did a very short class on South Korean cinema, and it was one of the few world cinema where I actually found it quite interesting with the politics and stuff. We did a lot of European cinema, and I just couldn't get my head around all the different politics and how that informed the films. So it was a bit of a chore. But South Korean was really interesting and engaging because the thing that's interesting, I think, about South Korean cinema is it's relatively new. Like they were in a huge civil war up until what I want to say like the 80s.
Yeah, something like that.
And then they sort of broke free of like this like dictatorial. How do you say the word? Dictatorial like regime, and then they just suddenly had this like influx of media.
Yeah.
And it massively informed and shaped the way that they started making films from that point on. It would be like if North Korea removed Kim Jong-il, is it? Who's currently
and then eventually a film thing started.
Yeah, like you remove him and put in like a more democratic government in place. The films that would start coming out of there would be really interesting, I think. Yeah,
because I see what you're saying, and I agree that I'm not shooting down your immigration thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like it 100% could be that South Korea doesn't have any real dealings with immigration, but the fact that because of what we have like seen happening in the last year, another thing to think about. If I'd have watched this like 10 years ago, before all of that stuff was so in the kind of public sphere, I maybe wouldn't have drawn it from the film.
Yeah,
but it's only because it's kind of fresh in mind with what's happened recently.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, but that's why I like discussing this sort of thing.
That's fair enough. No, I'm glad we discussed it.
Good.
And we didn't fall out as much as I thought we were going to.
No, it's because at the end of the day, it's hard to be like, this is right and you're wrong when it comes to this sort of thing.
We're better at having a discussion where neither of us can be 100% right.
Yeah.
Because that way, neither of us, we both know we can't argue till we win, which is what we like doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to think what I've done is helped broaden your understanding of the world.
You broaden my understanding of why people like you, Lee, Jason and Mark can will read into those films and find those things. And you've not, I'm less
judgmental.
Angry. I'm less angry at you.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
I think it's because I assumed you were going to be, do one of your things where you just make a grand sweeping statement and expect everyone to go, oh yes, Liam.
Yeah, because that's the thing that I do.
You do like doing that.
I like talking in what's the word? I find it easier to talk in like exaggeration.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, I find it easier to make points when you're exaggerating.
Yes.
So, Train to Busan. Anything else we want to say about it?
I don't think so. I think people should go and watch it. If people have listened to this, even if you listen to this, I think it's worth going to see. And
let us know what you have taken away from it.
Yeah, if anyone's got opinions on this film, like it doesn't have to be about that big discussion we just had. If you've got things you liked and didn't like about the film, let us know because we always find that interesting.
Well, I would be very curious if we had like an American listener who watched it. If obviously bear in mind this came out last year. If there were any way to read a kind of like Trump message out of it, because it 100% wouldn't have been in there like deliberately, but it could be a way. There could be a way of reading it in that sort of way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that's difficult sometimes with film is if you watch like a film from the 70s, it's hard to like apply modern day thoughts to it, if that makes sense. Like, you couldn't watch a film from the 70s and go, oh, it's saying this about our government today.
Yeah.
But there could definitely be parallels.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Out of 5?
I think 4?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3.5 out of 5.
Fair enough.
Just because I liked it, but it didn't like blow me away or anything.
I cried like a baby, so I'm giving it 4. Did I say 4? Yeah, 4.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It's more than I usually do. It surprised me how much I cried.
Okay.
It's very emotional, Liam.
Is it though?
It was.
It was, but it was...
He learnt a lesson, and then he didn't get to spend any more time with his daughter after he learnt it.
So, did he really learn a lesson then?
Yeah, because he learnt that he sacrificed himself.
Okay.
I mean, it wouldn't have been emotional if he'd like had a scene at the end where he was like, I have learnt my lesson, and then the zombie got on and he threw his daughter into it and went, actually, fuck it.
No, he threw the pregnant lady into it.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
I honestly was half expecting, throughout the film, for her to give birth to a zombie baby.
Anytime someone is pregnant in a zombie thing,
Yep.
I now expect that. And is that because of the remake of Dawn of the Dead did that?
I haven't seen the remake of Dawn
Oh,
of the
really?
Dead. Yep.
Well, fair enough. There's, I'm sure there are other things that have done the lady is pregnant, baby is a zombie.
Brain Dead, I want to say.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Peter Jackson film. Worth watching.
Fair enough. But I think that's a good twist, but once you've then seen it, it makes you aware of it. So anytime you see a pregnant woman in a zombie film, you're like, oh no!
Yeah, exactly. I'm pleased they didn't do it, but equally... Okay, here's a question then. Or maybe not a question. Another theme to think about that you could read into this film is the patriarchy collapsing and the matriarchy surviving.
Because the two women are the only two that survived, sort of thing.
Yeah, but you would also have to kind of ignore all of the military men that are around. But
that's true.
You could also look at it as like, well, the patriarchal society has definitely collapsed at least.
There was a moment. Sorry, I'm moving away from your topic.
That's
your interesting topic. There was this moment, like I get with a lot of these films, as it's ending, I think like, oh well, what is the next step in this? Because you've got something like 28 Days Later, right?
Yeah.
Where they meet up with the military people.
Yep.
And then that turns out to not be the best thing in the world. Because it all sort of goes tits up, right? I think.
Yeah, the film gets really boring at that point as well.
It does get really boring, but it's also like, you know, a lot of bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
So,
it's that like tried and tested thing where it's like, is the monster really the monster or is
exactly.
the monster? Yeah.
So like when the film ends, it's clearly trying to give us like this happy, not happy, but like, oh, the girl survived and the pregnant mum survived. Maybe there's hope, sort of thing.
But if you read it from like a 28 Days Later perspective, they're
I was like,
going to get raped.
Yeah, I was like, oh Jesus, well, is Busan actually going to be this lovely haven?
Yeah.
Also, the number of films that have been like, there's one last safe haven, and then they get there, and then it just all goes to shit.
Well, that's another thing that's interesting, I think, about horror films is, so just to like put this in a realm that I'm a bit like I have some information about, so I can actually talk about.
Yeah, go for it.
If you look at the slasher films with the final girl, right?
Yeah.
The whole final girl trope is this like virginal woman will beat the horrible masked killer. Yeah. But what you don't often see, or sometimes you do see, is the sequel where that like very like female empowering thing has absolutely destroyed her, like emotionally, mentally. Like they're normally, when the sequel starts in some sort of catatonic state, they normally don't survive the sequel, and then you've got to go like, well, how empowering of a message is this? Like,
they're like, yeah, you can do it, but just don't look afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you actually start taking these things beyond the film to what happens next, often goes bad.
Yeah.
And like again, sticking with 28 Days Later, then look at how 28 Weeks Later plays out.
Yeah, where it's effectively like the whole world, or the whole of England's just gone to shit.
Yeah, and they try to rebuild, and that does not work.
Yeah. And anything else, Liam? Are we done?
I think we're done.
Fair enough. Well, what are we going to be doing, Liam? It's the big reveal.
So this was a suggestion, wasn't it?
It was suggested by our very own Tom Hogan. Do you want to say what it is?
Yeah, I'm a little bit excited for it.
Oh, I know you are. I don't think you should be.
I know I shouldn't be. That's the thing. Like, I 100% shouldn't be, but maybe I should be.
Okay, well, listeners, I don't know if you've heard of a little group called Asylum Cinema, but they make shit films, and we're going to watch one of them.
Because Tom told us to.
So we will be watching, for the next episode, I nearly said High School Musical, Sunday School Musical.
Came out in 2008. The thing is, it's only an hour and 33 minutes.
Yeah, but it's going to be It's either going to be hilariously bad or just painful.
If I was a betting man,
Yeah.
I would bet on painful, because I've just seen a user review on IMDb and it says, for only having 14 days to shoot the scenes and all, this is an amazing movie. Now, musicals generally require a fair bit of time to go into like producing them, like choreography, sets, all that. Like,
Yeah.
14 days is barely getting the like cast on the same sort of page with the dance moves.
Yep. So painful we're going for then, yeah?
That would be my guess, yeah. So this is like, normally I say, like we like to say at the end, if you've seen this, tweet or email us. I don't think we're going to have anyone that has seen this. And
I don't even think Tom's seen it.
if anyone has seen it, just let us know how bad it's going to be. Maybe?
All right, well, maybe we can expand it then, because I agree with you. I don't think anyone will have watched this one.
Yeah.
But I bet there are a few listeners out there who have watched other Asylum Cinema films.
Okay, yeah.
Because I personally have seen Transmorphers,
Yeah.
and I've watched the trailers to pretty much every other film they've ever made.
Yeah.
So if you've watched another Asylum Cinema film, let us know whether you love them or hate them. Because at the moment, I love them, because I think it's ridiculous what they do.
Yeah. They have this, like, there's this trend with film at the moment where it's like, oh, it's so bad, it's good. Okay? And I get that with some films.
Yeah.
But I've watched one other Asylum film, and it was just bad. Like, sometimes films are just bad.
I agree. And I don't think Asylum Cinema are trying to be so bad they're good.
No, I think they're just trying to make money.
Yeah, they are.
Which,
100%.
to be fair, is what everyone is trying to do when it comes to film. But
yeah, but these guys are particularly scummy about it, in my opinion.
yes.
So just let if you've got opinions, listeners, let us know.
They won't.
They won't. If they did want to, though, Liam.
Yeah. And also, like, I would like to just thank the ones that did get in touch with recommendations. And if anyone has other recommendations, can I just say, it would be really nice if, when you recommend something, it is something that you have at least seen before.
No, not necessarily.
Because I would like to know, like, if someone's going to recommend something, I want to know why they've recommended it.
I don't care.
So I also want Tom to message us with why he's recommended this. So we can read that
Tom
out.
doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to force him to watch this film with me.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. How do they get in touch with us? It's real simple, Jack. They can tweet us at nerdonnerd. Go to twitter.com, look for Nerd on Nerd, all one word, and you'll find us, and then you can just tweet us and stuff, and we can interact. It's amazing. It's great technology.
Yeah.
Go to facebook.com, /Nerd on Nerd pod, all one word.
Cool.
You could go to YouTube. If you just search Nerd on Nerd, all one word, we come up. Are you noticing a trend yet? If you want to email us, nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. You could leave us a review and a rating on iTunes. We would really appreciate that. It would make our day, probably. 5 stars would be nice. If you're going to leave a shitty review, it might not make our day, to be honest.
Just email it to us.
Yes.
If you hate us, email us.
And that is it.
Any final thoughts, Liam?
Yeah, I would like to finally think that this episode has gone massively over what we literally 2 hours ago discussed not doing.
Bye.
Bye.